Oh, you're muted.
All right. I'm just turning off that message that says I am being recorded. So give me a second. All right. Hello, everyone. First of all, like Elma said, we are hoping everyone here today who are present here will be able to go because it really is an exciting opportunity. So I'm going to just share some more information with you. Some of you may have heard some of these before, but there'll be new information here as well. First of all, for those of you who are not taking a Chinese class, my name is Romei Xie. Xie as in 谢谢, right? And I'm here today to share with you more information about the study abroad opportunities for Chinese language study in Taiwan. Let me get down here. First of all, there are actually two scholarships we are talking about right now. And they are both limited time scholarships, meaning people before this didn't have it. People after this probably wouldn't have either. So you guys are the lucky ones. And we started running this program in 2022. This coming summer is going to be the third year. We are working very hard to see if we can get this extended for another year, and we do hope so. The university that will be hosting us is in Taiwan. The name is National Chengkong University. It literally means National Success University. So it's a great name right there. And where is it located? First of all, Taiwan is located to the southeast of China. That green island you can see there. And the host university is located in the city of Tainan. And Tainan, you'll see, is located right there on the west coast, southwest, right there. Tainan is a famous city in Taiwan. It's not Taipei. Everyone probably heard more about Taipei in the north, but Tainan is a city rich in history. It's the capital of Taiwan for more than 200 years. And it's known for amazing 小吃, snack and food. So for the foodies out there, it's heaven, right? And the weather in summer in Taiwan is always hot and humid. Just picture yourself being in Hawaii, right? Tainan is about 90 minutes away from Taipei by high-speed rail. So it's very manageable distance for weekend trips if you want to go to Taipei or other cities on the weekends. And the locals in Tainan speaks Mandarin and Taiwanese. The local dialect is Taiwanese, but everyone also speaks Mandarin. So if you're there to learn Mandarin, and you will be given plenty of opportunity to actually interact with the locals in Mandarin. There are, like we said, two campus scholarships involved, like scholarship opportunities unique to UCI students. The first one is a JN Summer Study Abroad Scholarship, specifically designated for Taiwan. And the second one is provided by the host university, the UCI NCKU Taiwan Huayu Best Scholarship. Who can apply eligibility-wise for the JN scholarship? If you're a full-time UCI student, graduate or undergraduate in good standing, and if you have overall GPA of 2.5 or better, and if you have demonstrated proficiency in Mandarin Chinese from beginning to advanced level, then you will receive favorable consideration. It's not to say that if you don't have prior knowledge, you would completely not be considered, but people who have demonstrated proficiency in Chinese will be considered first. And well, that's primarily because if you know some Chinese going in, you will have the ability to enjoy your experience more. And it's also your ability to communicate would also make it like a safer environment for you, because you actually could express yourself if you're ever in need. You are also encouraged to consider taking a Chinese proficiency test. This test, or at least registration in this test, which tells us your expected level, would be a good supporting document for demonstrated proficiency in Chinese as well. Of course, if you're currently taking a Chinese class here, you don't necessarily have to, but you're still welcome to consider it. So that's for the JN UCI only, JN scholarship. As for the Huayu Best scholarship that's provided by the host university, pretty much similar criteria as well. Full-time UCI student, but you need at least 1 year or equivalent of Chinese language study at UCI by the end of this school year, or if you're currently enrolled in a Chinese class at UCI. And you need a language class GPA of 3.0 or better. And students who do not meet the eligibility requirement in the past will not be considered. But this year, we're giving much more spots for the Huayu Best Scholarship. So we are going to consider those who do not meet this eligibility requirements. But know that you'll be considered only if there are spots available after filling them with students who are eligible. In other words, if you have friends who are like zero beginners in Chinese and who would like to go with you, tell them they are welcome to apply. Like their application will be considered. They're welcome to apply, even though they don't have as high of a priority. And moving on, whose applications will not be considered. For JN, seniors graduating in spring or summer of 2024, unfortunately, you wouldn't be eligible, but there are other scholarships that you could apply for. We'll tell you about it at the end. And students who have received this scholarship previously, yes, so you've had your share, will give this opportunity to others. For the Huayu Best, same thing. If you're graduating, you're not eligible. And if you've received this scholarship previously, you're not eligible either. And there is one more. If you're a native speaker of Chinese, including students who have like Taiwan citizenship, or if you possess an overseas Chinese student status at the time of your application, like you're international students from China or Hong Kong, for example, you're not eligible because this scholarship is for students to learn Chinese. If you're a native speaker, you already got your language covered, so you won't be eligible for this. Exactly what do you get if you receive these awards? For the JN scholarship, you receive a one-time $2,500 scholarship dispersed through UCI scholarship office. For Huayu Best, you receive a monthly stipend about $800 a month for 3 months from the host university. But you don't get it like all at once, right at the beginning. You get it month by month upon verification of satisfactory class attendance. That's to make sure that you're not there on the scholarship to take a vacation, right? That's to make sure that you are there to learn. So your effort, attendance definitely is critical. In 2022, when we first started, there is an additional requirement of you having to maintain a grade of 85% or higher throughout the program to receive your monthly stipend. And a lot of UCI students panicked because at that time we just came out of COVID. During COVID, we had online classes. People didn't get to practice handwriting. But when they arrive at the host university, homework, tests, a lot of handwriting. So they feel like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep this up. But they did. They all did. But we hated seeing that panic. So we negotiated with the host university and removed that requirement. So now it's attendance. If you're there, you're learning, you're good. Right? So it's being dispensed on a monthly basis. Therefore, right at the beginning, you should expect to have some cash with you, have some money with you to cover yourself until the first month's scholarship, went into your account. So that's just a quick note. And required documents for application. Let's take a quick look at what you need to submit with your application. Your unofficial UCI transcript. If you have questions about these documents, Elma will be able to answer your questions later. Also, a statement of purpose. It doesn't have to be long. A brief one-page statement of purpose explaining why you want to study Chinese in Taiwan. If you want to, you can, like later on, you also have to submit similar things to the host university. So that would be for you to just change in Taiwan to at NCKU. So you need this for more than once. You need to submit a copy of your passport valid through the intended length of stay. So if you don't already have a passport, apply for one, expedite it too, right away, because you need to submit your passport at that time. Upon successful application, if your application is accepted, you're selected, then you'll be required to complete additional paperwork. It used to be that you need to apply for a visa. I think this year we are going to ask to remove that visa requirement. So you might not need a visa. So program terms, what can you expect for JN and Huayu Best? For JN provides support. It's intended to provide support to 10 students for up to 4 weeks of summer study in Taiwan. That number, 10 students, that is firm, right? There are only 10 spots. And the support is meant to be covering 4 weeks of your study there. The Huayu Best, this year we are going to, if we are only talking about 10-week programs, this year we're going to have 20 students. That's pretty much doubled what we had the year before. In 2022 and 23, each year we only send like 10 students. So those students, they were on their best behavior. I bet they did well, and the host university increased the quota for us. So we'll be able to bring a lot more people. It'll be a party, right? In Chinese though. But we are also given an alternative. This is where it gets tricky. We also have the alternative of giving 13 scholarships for 10 weeks, plus 15 short-term, meaning 5-week scholarships. But that's provided, that's conditional. That's only if we have 15 or more students for the 5-week program. So the availability of the 5-week Huayu Best depends not just on whether or not you apply, it depends on whether or not there are 14 other people apply. So that's very tricky. Therefore, if you're considering going, I would strongly suggest you aim for the 10-week. For the 10-week, we know exactly how many people we will be able to award it to, and you know exactly what you're getting as well. There are no uncertainties for that. Right? So moving on, here are some program dates. The summer program, NCKU means National Chen Kung University, CLC is Chinese Language Center. Their summer program dates. Just like UCI's summer program, there are 2 terms, Summer Session 1 and Summer Session 2. Summer Session 1 for 5 weeks and Summer Session 2 for 5 weeks as well. And the 10-week program naturally is a combination of these 2. So there are in theory short-term options and long-term options. even though we're strongly encouraging people to consider the 10-week option first, right? And as far as how the summer sessions and the scholarships interact, if you are applying for JN, in theory, you can apply for summer session 1, summer session 2, summer session combined. For Huayu Best, in theory, I mean, like for sure, Huayu Best, you will have to do the 10-week, both sessions. There's a question mark for summer session 1 for Huayu Best, because that depends on whether or not there are 15 people who are qualified. So I'm highlighting the regular season 10-week program because that's the one program where you'll be eligible for both JN and Huayu Best. So you can apply for both scholarships if you plan to do that. Now, I know scheduling is a big consideration for a lot of people. Here are the suggested travel dates. You're strongly encouraged to arrive at NCKU by Friday, June 14th. That is because there will be an in-person orientation on Saturday. So if you arrive at least the day before, you could settle in, move into your place, and find out how to get to NCKU the next morning so you can participate in the orientation next day. Unfortunately, UCI's final exam week runs through the 13th. Of course, your final exam may end early, but the reality is that it's pretty much like you need to leave for Taiwan as soon as you're done with your final exam, right? What if you couldn't make that orientation date? It has happened last year. Last year, during the orientation, there were 2 people who were on a flight in the air. So because their final exam ended late. It's okay. Like if you miss it, they could still help you on Monday. You just need to go in earlier. But it'll be very nice if you can make the in-person orientation because that's when you get the student ID for NCKU to access the building, and you get information about accounts, like opening a bank account, a local bank account to receive your scholarship and such. As for leaving NCKU, you are advised to leave NCKU no earlier than August 24th because the 23rd is the last day of instruction. Right? So these are your travel dates. Keep that in mind. Once you get back to the US, you have about a month to recover before full quarter instruction starts. Right? But about arrival date, there is a little FYI that I need to talk about because FYI, when I say arrival by Friday, June 14th, you need to take into consideration 2 things. First of all, there's a 16-hour time difference between California and Taiwan in the summer. And direct flight from LAX to Taipei takes about 13 to 14 hours. So I did a little calculation. A lot of the flights out of LAX departs around midnight. So if you leave on the midnight, like late at night on Wednesday, then you will arrive at Taipei Friday morning, 5 a.m. So take that into consideration when you plan your schedule. As far as what classes you'll be taking and how many classes you'll be taking while you're there, you'll be taking from 3 to 4 hours of class per day with a total of 15. Most people take 16, usually, hours a week with the following breakdown. Each day you have 2 hours of small group class. That would be the core group. You go to the class with these people at the same class every day. And there are also electives that you'll be taking once a week or twice a week. So 5 days a week for 10 weeks, that gives you more than 150 hours. That's about 3/4 worth of Chinese language class. at UCI. So it's comparable to UCI Summer Session 1 plus Summer Session 2. So we talk about the classes you'll be taking that include small group class and elective class. For small group class, what level you'll be taking is determined by your placement test result. NCKU offers classes from the very beginning level, A class. That's probably the content probably is equivalent of UCI's 1A plus 1B, B class, C class, D, E, F, G, and higher level. Our experience so far is students who completed Chinese 1C at UCI tend to get placed into class B, B class, or C class. That usually depends a lot, I think, on your ability to communicate verbally. There is a reason because you will be asked to take a placement exam online sometime in May, about a month before we completed our 1C curriculum. So when they do the placement test, it's reading, writing, listening, reading as well. Because a lot of the class time is devoted to interactive activities. So many times we've had students who's reading at a C level, who qualifies for the C class with their reading, but they're not in the habit or didn't have the personality to communicate like freely, whether my sentence is right or wrong. So sometimes they get to place to B class. But either way, you'll be learning. And with the immersion setting, you'll be learning a lot. People who completed 1C last year and took C class at NCKU are now taking Chinese 3 ABC at UCI. It tends to happen that way, right? Just that you know. And for elective classes, there are two types of elective classes. Cultural classes, the fun ones like martial arts, Tai Chi, calligraphy, Chinese painting, and language class electives to supplement your small group class. It could be reading, writing, conversation, idioms, classes like that to supplement your language class. Are there other requirements in addition to taking classes? Yes. Whether you're going for JN or Huayu Best, you need to take a placement test in May so they can place you in a class at the right level. And once you're taking class at Chinese Language Center, you'll also have opportunities to participate in a lot of field trips. There'll be like local tours, half-day tours, out-of-town tours, events for you to choose from, like movie nights, things like that. If you're on the Huayu Best Scholarship, same thing, you need to take a placement test before. You can participate in the same activities, but there are other things that's required of you or that's offered only to you. You also need to take a proficiency test at the end of the program to evaluate your progress, to measure your progress, which is reasonable. And you have an attendance requirement for you to receive your monthly scholarship. And you must participate in at least one service-based cultural exchange activity arranged by NCKU. This is exclusively for Huayu Best students. Know that it may look like it's a requirement, but it's an opportunity that other people wish they had because they have been very, very fun activities so far. For 1 year, we visited with a bilingual, English-Chinese bilingual program at the best local high school and interacted with those high school students. Those students took our UCI students, later on took them to the night market, took them to a bar. They were only 17, but they took them to fun places. And those students still are in touch with UCI alumni. So our UCI friends from previous years, they will have the contact information and you'll be well taken care of locally as well. In addition, there'll be opportunities for you to participate in Huayu Best only field trips that includes Huayu Best students from other universities. So those were fun activities as well. And finally, you'll have additional administrative support. There'll be a staff dedicated just to taking care of Hwayu Best students at NCKU. So they'll take good care of you there. In addition to those, the 10-week program estimates is what I think a lot of you would want to know. Here's what you can expect. Flights and ground transportation. For last year's cohorts, it ranges from 1,500 to 20, depending on when you got your tickets and like on what date you're traveling as such. But that's 1,500 is probably what you are looking at. Tuition and fees at NCKU, about 1,000. Housing and meals, that completely depends on your spending habits. Minimally, I think you could, if you live in a dorm, if you're lucky enough to get a dorm and you're not a big eater or like you're not picky about your food, then I think you could even I can imagine someone going by with 1,000. But typically 1,500 is what the average is. There was a student last year who booked an expensive Airbnb. Like on Airbnb alone, he spent 2,500. But that's him and only him. It's hard to imagine for me. You could probably live in a pretty decent hotel for 2,500 for 10 weeks. Meals are very affordable. We'll talk about that, right? So estimated basic total cost, you're probably looking at 4,000-ish. Each student now, so that's the expense. How about the scholarship? The scholarship for Hwayu Best from the host university, you'll receive about $790 per month. So that amounts to a total of $2,370. And some of you, the first one I say each, because if you're selected for Hwayu Best, you're guaranteed that much. But for JN, we only have up to 10 spots this year, right? Every year, only have up to 10 spots. It's 2,500. So if you are awarded both scholarships, basically you're all covered. There would probably be no out-of-pocket expense for you. So this is like amazing, amazing opportunity. I imagine 10 of you will be in this situation. You have everything covered, plus getting 1 year's worth of Chinese language study done. For a lot of the participants in the past, that also made it possible for them to either double major or minor in Chinese. So great opportunities here. Even with only one scholarship, whether it's JN or Hwayu Best, even with only one of them, I would say you are covered for tuition and fees and living expenses. So you're just paying for your own flights. That's still a great, great deal. So now that we look at the 10-week, let's look at the 5-week. The 5-week, if it becomes viable, if we have more than 15 people, right? For flights, you pay the same amount. It doesn't get any less expensive just because you are there for 5 weeks. You pay the same amount for your flights. And tuition and fees, 5 weeks, a little over $500. Housing and meals, I would say about 1,000. We have never had 5 weeks before, so this is just an estimate, right? So this is what you're looking at. And if there are 15 or more participants, then the 15 students could each receive the Hwayu Best scholarship, about $760 one time. If you also get selected for JN, then that's an additional. But we don't know if the 5-week will run until the application closes. And just to give you some idea of living expenses, living costs for 1 month, their estimates is in this range. Of course, again, it depends on your own taste. current exchange rate is $1 about 31.5 Taiwan dollars. The cost of some typical items in Tainan, in case you're interested. Bus tickets, local buses, so 18 Taiwan dollars. Train from Tainan to another big city in the south, about 100. Restaurant meals, that's the range. University cafeteria meal, that's how much, or shall we say, how little it costs, right? And if you look at some fun items, naturally, if you go to Taiwan, you have to try stinky tofu at least once. That's how much it costs. And if you cannot live without boba, that's how much boba costs. It's cheap. It's very, very cheap. And they're good too. So the part that's very unpredictable with a wide range is housing, because you make your own housing arrangements. There are not enough dorms at NCKU in the summer. Unlike in the US, where everyone moved out their dorms at the end of the spring quarter, in Taiwan, students keep their dorms in the summer. They don't have to move out. So limited availability of dorms. Here are some options, what our UCI cohorts have done in the past. Campus dorms by lottery and hostels. There were 4 people who shared a hostel room for the entire summer in 2022. Airbnbs, there were people who, like 3 girls shared an apartment the first year, an Airbnb. There was one who had an Airbnb room all by herself, and the host like became friends with her. There were others who lived in an Airbnb very close to campus, but very expensive. So it's your option, right? Dorm quotas are limited. They will help you with the application, but dorm placement cannot be guaranteed. That's why we are like sort of moving everything earlier this year, hoping the earlier you get started, the more time you have to work on your housing application. How much does it cost to live in a dorm? Very, very affordable. About like 200 a month, like 200 US dollars a month. Unthinkable in Irvine, I know. So we've had students who live on off-campus dorms, on-campus dorms. There were 2 students who lived in on-campus dorms in 2023. That's because one of them, like the lottery draw, she got picked, and she has a double room. So she offered her classmates a space in her room. So we ended up having 2 people there. So that's just for your reference. And cooking is not allowed. You don't want to cook. Food is very affordable. Right? And Alma put together this timeline for us. So take a look. We are already doing the second item, virtual information session right now. You have time to put in your application together, but it's not much. So do it as early as you can, so you know, like, don't have to worry about it later. We'll announce a decision soon, like within 2 weeks after the deadline. And we hope then after that, those who are offered these scholarships have 5 days to decide whether or not they want to take the opportunity. You have to sign the agreements, right? We hope nobody withdraws. Last year, somebody withdrew last minute, and we ended up wasting a spot. So we hope nobody withdraws this time. And the absolute deadline to withdraw is there, May 1st. After you're selected, you're also going to have to fill out a scholarship application with the host university. They need that information, right? There'll be pre-departure orientation, and you're suggested to arrive by June 14th. Class starts at 17th, and last day of class is August 23rd. Once you're selected, in addition to confirming your acceptance of the scholarship offer, you have NCKU paperwork to do. You have to like accept a scholarship there. You have to apply to their summer language program so you can take class there. And you should also start looking into booking your flights. Right? Usually the earlier you book, the more affordable it is. Or sometimes students last year tracked the cost. And when the flight tickets price dropped, then they immediately went in to purchase it. So you might want to do that as well. Then you should start applying for housing. There'll be pre-departure requirements like shots, paperwork with UCI abroad, and such. And you'll have to complete the placement testing. So you have a class to go to as well. For more information about the Chinese language class, feel free to search NCKU CLC. The 10-week program is a regular season summer program, so you can take a look at that. Another good source of information is from people who returned from NCKU. So the cohorts from 2022 and 2023 just formed a Taiwan Alumni Association at UCI last month. And there are, I think, 15 members who are already in that association. The rest of them graduated. So, and currently the president is Emily and vice president is Huing. They have started doing some activities. This is at one of the Taiwan movie nights from the EA, East Asia 55 course. They already have their sign TAA, Taiwan Alumni Association, out at the event. And finally, keep in mind, please only apply if you can truly commit to the program, or knowing that if you get accepted, you will be able to go, right? We don't want to waste a spot. Also, your performance determines if Huayu Best program gets extended the year after. Past 2 years, we have 10 people. This year, we are given 20, right? I wonder why. And give your UCI friends a lot of space while you're at NCKU. I know they're safety in number and you love your classmates, but you also want to take the opportunity to meet other people from the world. There are students from other Asian countries, from Europe, from South America, all there for you to make friends with. I also want to bring to your attention, for those of you who might be interested, there's actually, UCI has an additional bilateral exchange program with NCKU. It's a one-on-one exchange. So you can look it up. You can be there for your degree work. Like if you are, I was told, if you're a nursing major, you can apply to go to NCKU. NCKU also has a nursing program. They have the classes taught in English as well. So you'll be able to complete some of your coursework there. I think the application deadline for that bilateral exchange program is in February 15th, according to SEC's website. So welcome to consider that. You can search for it on SEC's website if you would like to look into that more. For those of you who are actually graduating, who are not eligible for this scholarship, for the like JN or Hawaii Best Scholarship, know that there are other opportunities for you. There are opportunities for you to pursue a degree in Taiwan, for you to study Chinese language in Taiwan for 2 months, 3 months, or even longer. And these two scholarship application deadlines usually is end of March. So if you are a graduating senior, look into this. And if you're graduating, you want to take a gap year, you can go apply for the opportunity to teach English in Taiwan while learning Chinese. So if you're interested in any of these scholarships, TICO, I'm leaving Emily Shen's message, like contact information here. You can get more information from her. So that's all I have. It's a long presentation. Thank you for your patience. If you have any questions for me now, or Elma, should we go to questions, or would you do you have more to add? Let me take a look at chat just to see.
Yes, thank you so much, Rumi. I think it was very clear, making the differences between the two scholarships. I really appreciate that. Just a couple of comments before continuing with the questions. One of the first requirements when going abroad is having a passport, just as Rumi was mentioning. So in case someone of you do not have a passport yet, you are very encouraged to apply as soon as possible. I'm going to drop in the chat the UCI Passport Services webpage because they can assist you, and the turnaround time for getting a passport is around 7 to 10 weeks. So that is something. Now, in case you don't have a passport or you need to renovate it, and you are interested in applying, go and apply. And in the part of the application that says upload your passport, upload the document that prove that you are in the process of renewing your passport or getting a passport for the first time. This is very important because we want that, as I was saying at the beginning, we want that you take advantage of this opportunity. So we don't want that not having a passport discourage you for applying for this opportunity. So I'm going to drop that information about UCI passport services in the chat. Also remember that per UCI policy, all students going abroad must register their travel or their activity abroad in the UCI abroad portal. So I guess you are all familiar with that portal, but if you haven't completed an application yet, you will need first to complete your profile, and then you can start and filling out the application. But anyway, any question you going to drop that information on the chat. And we have a couple of questions here
Right.
in the chat. One was,
right.
yes, Rumi.
Yeah, I'm looking at those questions too. So can you go back a slide? That's not going to happen apparently, right? And the selection criteria is definitely merit-based. So it's, if we have like say more than 20 applicants for Huayu Best, it's merit-based. But the JN scholarship, it's mostly merit-based. There might be a little consideration of needs as well.
And just to complement that answer, Rumi, I was also telling Megana that also something that the committee considers, and it's very important, is the statement of purpose, because these scholarships are for the best, but also for those who are really motivated and that can show that motivation to the selection committee. So if you really want to go and pursue this objective of going abroad, learning Chinese and having the chance this scholarship, we invite you to be very consistent when writing your statement of purpose, because that is something that the committee really considers when taking a decision.
And I can see another question from Yizhen, right, about the TOEFL test. The placement test at NCKU is not a full TOEFL test. It will probably be a similar nature of test, but the actual full TOEFL test is actually a very long test. So their placement test will be a shorter version of that. Let's put it that way. I see. Magna asks, does the merit base means like grades? For Huayu Best, one of the reasons why we asked for like 1 year of UCI classes or currently taking a UCI class is at the suggestion of the host university, because attendance patterns is going to affect whether or not like your habits of attendance will affect whether or not you actually get to receive your scholarship when you get there. So the scholarship is for like 3 months, but you receive it monthly after they verify your attendance. So if you are there and you're missing a lot of classes, you could end up taking classes there, paying for everything, but not getting the scholarship at all. So we want to make sure this students merit-based, in addition to grades, very responsible study habits and responsible attendance patterns as well. And like Elma said, your motivation, right?
Any other question?
Right. I don't have my eyeglasses, so I'm like zooming into that. Yes. Laura asked, the application to the whole school would be similar, but it would have some additional information. So you could recycle the essay with minimum modification. It's not a whole lot of other work. It's just additional information that they need. They might need like your health insurance information and other informations like that. So for Ejan's question, Ejan asked, would I recommend taking TOEFL for other scholarship? Yeah, I think taking the TOEFL test, well, let me see if I can get you. There are various reasons why people take the TOEFL test. And one of them is definitely for scholarship application, but it could also, if you eventually are interested in taking, like applying your Chinese language skills in job search, that's a certification of your Chinese proficiency. So on that, Huayu Best, even though Huayu Best doesn't require it, but it does give you an additional chance when it comes to placement. Let's say you actually do very well with your TOEFL test, but when you took the placement test at NCKU, they are suggesting that you take a lower level class, but you can produce that TOEFL test result and tell them, but see, I actually could do this. I would like to take a higher level class. So you could do that as well. Any other questions? You can also, like, if it's too much trouble to type, just unmute and ask. And we are, like, once you're selected, we are definitely going to get you connected to the alumni. They would have a lot more information they could share with you. Did I miss any questions? Feel free to speak up. No, you're good. Are you excited? Wow. So if it's just people here plus those send me email, then we can all go. No. But sending your application, I would say, as soon as they're ready, early, so you don't have to worry about it. And Elma, I guess I think I do have a question. Is there a place in the application, because I couldn't see the application, I'm not a student, right? Is there a place in the application where they indicate whether they want to apply for the 10-week or 5-week?
Yes, absolutely. Give me just 1 second and I will show you a
Okay.
preview of the application. And I also wanted to mention that just as Rumi was mentioning, your motivations for attending this program are very important, but we are also looking for your commitment. Since this program includes both a scholarship from UCI or a scholarship that is managed through UCI and also a scholarship that is through the Taiwanese government, we require from commitment, require that you be compliant with the deadlines that we are telling you, specifically because since part of the money will be disbursed through UCI, they are very strict with the deadlines and they are very strict with the requirements. So we know that you're excited for being part of this program, but we also ask you for your commitment and for all your effort to be compliant with what we are asking in terms of the application NCKU Abroad portal, but also with what is related to the internal application for the Huayu Best, as well as the placement test for the university. So please be mindful of that. We know that you are excited. We know that this is a great opportunity, but we're also expecting from you all your commitment and, let's say, devotion for this program. If you really want to go and be part of this great opportunity, we're expecting from you to be really committed.
And someone asked how many people usually apply. I mean, this is only our third year. There's very little track record to speak of. But let's just say, I think we were not able to, like, it differ every year. We were not able to take everybody who applied in the past. But this year, with the 20 spots for the Huayu Best, at least, we are hoping to be able to take most people who apply.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Is that all? Let me see. Okay. Oh, that one says 谢谢. All right. Would you recommend? Okay. I think that's all the questions I can see. If anyone have any questions, you can always email Alma if it's about application, or email me if it's about like the program itself. But we definitely look forward to, I'm looking at like the names here. I know a lot of the people here. It's an exciting group. I'm so excited. All right. So
Unfortunately, sorry about that. Unfortunately, I cannot pull out the
I see.
application.
It's okay, but
yes,
yeah.
you
But as
will
long as
have
you know.
the option to choose. Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. I think that's all from me. Alma, do you have anything more to add?
No, Ethan is saying, when I had started at the NCKU application on the study abroad site, the student information section was completely blank. Was it because it was before the info session, or maybe a glitch? It might be a glitch, but if you can try again, and let me know if there is some issue going on there, please send me an email and I will help you with that. But thank you for bringing that to my attention.
So Alma, the recording of this Zoom meeting will be posted to where?
I think I think for sure I will send it to all the people that registered for attending. I can also send it to you, and I think we can put it in our YouTube channel. Yes, and yes, we can post the slides too. Yes, of course.
All right. Okay. Well, then thank you everyone for coming. I look forward to seeing your applications.
Thank you so much. Have
Thank
a
you.
great
Good
rest of
night.
your afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.